Alright, today we're going to be lapping valves at home. You can see here on the left, here's one that's done already. It's this nice non-reflective matte gray surface all the way around. And here's a close-up picture. You can see what I'm talking about a little bit better than you can on the video. And this is the one we're going to be doing next. Hasn't been touched at all. And here's a close-up picture of that. So you've seen the valve seats. Here on the left is a valve that's done, and on the right is a valve that hasn't been done yet. So in order to do this, you're going to need some very basic tools. Obviously, you're going to have to know how to take the head off, remove the valves. If you don't already know how to do that, don't try to grind your own valves at home. You're going to need a drill that can accept a 1/4-inch drill bit. I got this Milwaukee M12, but any drill that takes a 1/4-inch bit will work. You're going to need some valve grinding compound. You can get this at any auto parts store. And you're going to need a piece of 1/4-inch ID tubing, which again, any auto parts store. And most cars are going to be 1/4-inch. If you're not sure, take one of your valves with you to the store. None of the hose packages are sealed. You can pop it right open, test that it fits snug, but you don't really have to force it to get it in there. And you're going to need some method of adding lubrication to your valve guide. I got this little oiler can here, and you just stick that right in the valve guide, give it about half a pump, and that's that. So you take your valve grinding compound and you just put a little right on the spot that's going to contact the valve seat all the way around. You don't want big globs because it's just going to go flying off. You're going to waste it. So just kind of dab. And if you have a little spot you missed, don't worry about it. You just want to get pretty even coverage all the way around. Put a little bit more oil on the valve stem. And go ahead and slide that bad boy home. Now on the other side, you're going to take one end of your length of hose and you're going to slip it over the valve stem. And then you're going to take your drill and thread that drill bit into the opposite end so that when you activate the drill, it'll spin the valve. But the reason that it's set up like this is you have 2 points of slippage in case anything binds. And if you're really worried about it, you can set the chuck on your drill to the lowest setting. So on the back side, you don't want to seat that tubing all the way down to where the valve guide would be. You want to have enough room to slide that valve in and out somewhere between a 1/4-inch and a 1/2-inch. The exact distance doesn't matter, but somewhere in there. And go ahead and get comfortable and seat your drill in there and settle in, because you're going to be here for a little while. Every so often stop and change directions. That's what we want. We want to get that pitch to go real high where it starts singing. And you notice it started sealing well enough that just with light pressure from my finger, even though the drill speed was staying the same, the valve stopped moving. So take your tubing and drill off the back, pull it on out. Get your paper towel, let's go ahead and pop that valve out and take a look at it. Now you can do all of this with just paper towels. It goes a little faster and easier if you have some brake cleaner and a blowgun. And here's the valve we were just working on. That looks really good already. It's not done yet, but it's come a long way for just a single pass. And now we got to clean off that valve seat and inspect that. And even though it's daylight outside, having a flashlight will help you be able to check it. You're going to want to get pretty close. So again, that's looking good. There's a couple of low spots in there, so we want to keep going. And I'm going to spray it out. And then blow it out. You want to pay special attention to make sure you get your blowgun into the valve guide. You want to make extra sure you didn't get any grinding compound on the valve stem or inside the valve guide. And now that we're all clean, we go for round 2. when you're doing this, you want to be using shop towels, not rags, because you're going to be going through a lot of them. Because you want to use a clean surface every time you wipe it down. And as I pulled it out, I just brushed the valve stem against the seat. So I'm going to have to clean the entire thing before I put it back in to make sure I didn't contaminate the guide with any grinding compound. You'll notice when it comes off, when you wipe the grinding compound off, it's a lighter color than it was when you put it on. And that's because it's got all the metal you removed suspended in the grinding compound. I say all the metal, you're really not removing a lot. So that valve seat looks good. The valve looks great. It's just a little dark spot from where I touched it in the oil from my finger. But the valve looks very uniform. There's some light scoring on the seat. So we're going to mix in just a little bit of water and cut this compound to make it finer. A little bit more. So that's what you're looking for, like a thin gruel consistency where it's obviously a lot less viscous, but it doesn't run down your finger, it stays in place. And we'll just paint that onto the valve. The better way to do this would be to buy a grinding compound that's available in multiple grits right off the bat, but I only have the one. If you've done this a few times, you can get really consistent results this way, but if it's your first time doing it, buy a different brand of valve grinding compound that comes in multiple grits, and that'll be your best bet. When you're sliding the valve into the guide, if you feel any grittiness, that means you got grinding compound in there. And you need to take it off and clean it all out. notice this time I'm not using my finger. That's not just for the camera. We're just doing a final polish here. So we want very light pressure. And you know that you're getting close when it keeps, your little setup keeps trying to fall apart. The tube starts falling off the end of the valve stem, or the drill bit wants to back out of the tube. Like that. But I'm not quite where I want to be yet. There it is singing. And we're done. When you wipe the oil off, even though you're using a clean spot on the towel every time, always wipe from the stem down to the flare of the valve to try and minimize any possible contamination of grinding compound onto the stem. And there's a completed valve. Very uniform matte gray surface all around the sealing ring. And there's usually going to be just a little bit of residue left. It doesn't come off on the paper towel. It doesn't come off with the brake cleaner in the air. And it comes off on your glove. Check that with the flashlight. Yeah, that's what we want to see. Especially, you know, compared to the one next to it, which is a lot of pitting. You can see all the dark spots right up here. That's what we're fixing. And when we're done and we get this engine put back together, it's going to have compression like the day it rolled off the factory floor. Now when you're doing this, it's highly advisable to have as light of a drill as possible. That's why I like this 12 volt, because you're going to be holding it back here at a weird angle for a good chunk of time. Alright, that's it for this video. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. And best of luck to you saving a whole bunch of money grinding your own valves at home.